Sky's no limit.
Ladies and gentlemen, just going to the service shortly departing to Bristol with flight time at the captain's stage of 55 minutes. My name is Jeremy, cabin manager on today's flight.
Hello, my name is Liddy.
How old are you?
19.
19 years old. Liddy, why are you so rare?
I got Kleefstra syndrome.
You got Kleefstra syndrome. Does it make it a bit hard to travel?
Hard to travel.
But you need to go and travel, don't you?
Yeah,
And all of your friends need to go and see new places, don't they?
yes.
You just need a bit of extra.
Help.
Disabled people in England make on average 25% fewer trips than non-disabled people every year. In aviation alone, 60% of disabled flight passengers reported having difficulties accessing or using airports and flying. Since 2019, the disparity between disabled and non-disabled passengers has widened in most satisfaction areas, including booking flights, airport experience, and handling of complaints. Discover Voices joined Cornwall Accessible Activities Program and Makasong to the annual Learning Disabilities Nursing Conference in Belfast. We wanted to explore the event and discover more about what it is like to travel with a disability.
My name's Marie Whitehurst and I'm the Young Adult Engagement Officer for Disability Cornwall. The reason why I went to Belfast is because I'm the project lead for the Time to Shine project, which is part of Cornwall Accessible Activities Program for young adults between the ages of 18 and 25. My daughter is also a member of CAAP. She's 19 and has a disability. Also, Makasong, the signing choir, went as well, and myself and my daughter are both members of that. So the reason why we went to Belfast is because we went to facilitate the Positive Choices Conference, and it's in a different university every year, and it's set up for nurses who are specialising in learning disabilities or they're already registered nurses working in that field. The young people who are part of Time to Shine go to help to facilitate it, so they have roles within the 2-day conference. Makasong went as well, and what they do is they go and perform on the stage for all the nurses in the conference, which is absolutely lovely. The reason why our young people go to the conference is because they have lived experience, and it's important that the people that work with young people with a learning disability have that shared experience as well. It's the whole experience. It's not just the conference. It's also about travelling together. It's about going away with your friends, experiencing new places, and just experiences that our young people sometimes don't have the opportunity to experience. And it's really, really important that they are given that opportunity. And where did we go?
Belfast.
And who did you go with?
Diners.
The Shiners, the Time to Shine project, and
Makasong.
Makasong. The young people who go to the conference, their experience is vast. The first thing that happens is that they are matched with a learning disability nurse. So they have somebody that they work with at the conference, especially on the first day. On the first day, there's lots of groups and events happening. For example, there's lots of information shared about Makasong, and there's dance and music involved with that, and it shows how important signing is with our young people. The other really valuable part is on the Thursday night there's a disco, and what happens is that our young people get to experience a nightclub or something similar that perhaps they haven't experienced before with the nurses. So it's a really nice environment for everybody, and friendships are formed there. Travelling with a child with or an adult with complex needs is very challenging. I'm the mum of Liddy. Liddy's 19 and she has a rare syndrome called Kleefstra syndrome. Travelling is something that she really struggles with. Due to health issues, Liddy wears special stockings, which she doesn't enjoy. So that's the first hurdle we have to get over on the day. The preparation before that is immense. So we make sure that we have lots of videos where we're watching planes. We have easy read stories for her so that she can read all the time. We make sure that she has a detailed daily programme of what's happening that's in easy read as well, and she takes that with her everywhere she goes for a while so she can read it and get to come to terms with what's going to happen. We went to Belfast and we were travelling. We went on, what did we go on? The
Bus and airplane.
and another
Bus.
Which bit did you not like then? Tell me which bit you didn't like.
Airplane.
The airplane. And why? Why didn't you like the airplane?
It's a bit noisy.
It was a bit noisy. Did you like going up into the air? Yeah. It makes you a bit worried to start with.
Bit worried.
But once we're up there, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The plane is the worst part for Liddy. She doesn't like planes, she doesn't like the noise, so it's important that we have the airport on our side when we get there. She can't walk up the aisle with her friends, she has to go in the lift at the back of the plane, on the side of the plane, to get into the airplane. It's also really important that she gets on before everybody else, due to the fact that it's not very nice when you're feeling anxious to get onto a full plane with everybody looking at you. And it's sometimes quite difficult to get that across to the airport. How did you get into the plane? Can you remember?
With a lift.
A special
Better
lift.
lift.
So you went into the lift,
Lift.
didn't you? And then how did you get into the plane? What did the lift do? It went
Up, 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 up.
okay. And then when we was up, what happened then?
We're in the airplane.
We had to open a couple of
Open doors. Then go in.
then go in the airplane.
Airplane.
Did it make it easier for you? Bit easier? Yeah. Would you have liked to walked up the ramp to the airplane? No. I wonder why not.
Too loud.
Too loud. Okay. So your favourite part was the...
Bus.
And your least favourite part was the...
Lion.
Flying. The travelling is all planned by Sandy Lawrence, who's the director of Cornwall Accessible Activities Program. We had a lot of issues this time with booking planes due to the fact that they couldn't facilitate the amount of wheelchairs and scooters that we had to take. So that was quite challenging for her to find a flight that would meet our needs. It's also very difficult because different flights and different companies have different rules. So for example, my daughter has an electric wheelchair and we usually have to take it all apart and have it in a separate bag which goes with the chair. However, this time they wanted it all put back together, which causes my daughter anxiety because she's used to it going a certain way, and this time it didn't happen that way. we get to the airport, we travel as a group, and that's Makasong and the Time to Shine parents and young people. We are quite a big group. There was about 32 of us. So when we get to special assistants, because we're a big group, it can be quite challenging for them. It was on this occasion. They're not expecting a big group, although they have all our information before we get there. Sandy Lawrence is very, very good at making sure they have all our information. However, because it can be quite time-consuming, a little bit uncertain about what's going to happen, it can be unsettling for our young people. We have travelled as a group in the past, and one of the biggest issues that we have is people assuming that because you look like you're a fit person, that you don't need special assistance. We've been away twice now with a certain young man who is very well built. He's a surfer, he's very sporty, he's very knowledgeable. However, he needs support through special assistance, and they challenge him each time, which should not be happening. Just, you don't have to look disabled, if you like, to receive special assistance. It should be just assumed that if you're there, that is the reason why. When we got to Belfast, we had a lovely hotel. The hotel was lovely. We walked to the conference each day. Navigating a big city for our young people can be very challenging, especially new environments when you don't know what to expect. It's a new environment, new noises, big buildings, lots of cars, different sounding people. It's all very different, especially for the shiners. What we tended to do was walk as a group to the conference, so we were all protected and all together. For my daughter, she went in her wheelchair. It was very challenging. It was lots of sensory overload. So by the time that when we got to the university, which is again a new environment, lots of people, she found it very challenging to actually enter the building. And it was important that when she got there was a quiet room for her to go and just manage her sensory overload. Our young people come across quite a few communication barriers as well. Lots of our young people use Easy Read, which is an easier form of communication. The written word is very basic, easy to understand wording, and it's accompanied by a picture, and that really helps aid their understanding. Lots of places we go, obviously people don't use Makasong because they don't know how to use it. That's a barrier to their communication. Our young people take a long time to process what's being said to them as well. So allowing them time to respond, sometimes that doesn't happen by people. Often they're also bypassed straight to the parent or the carer, and the question isn't even aimed at them. What would help is signs, symbols, pictures, but I think we've got a long way to go before we get there, but that would be the best outcome for our young people. The great thing about travelling together is the support. We're a family of families. If one of our young people is struggling, having a bit of a sensory overload or struggling to understand, we support each other and try and help as much as we can. It's really, really important. I always take a PA with me as well, due to the fact that because I'm working when I go away, I can't give my daughter the support that she needs. And sometimes she does need more than one person to support her, especially when she's feeling quite anxious. Personal assistants are absolutely so important for us families. They're members of our families. They become part of our lives. They become part of what we do every day. They give our young people the freedom to experience what they want without their parents, and that is so important. One of the most memorable parts for me was when we produced the Advocacy Fellows podcast while we were there. Some of our young people do not like talking or asking questions, and the fact that over time every single one of them asked a question, that was really, really special for me.
Did anyone influence you to become a learning disability nurse? If so, who was it and why?
For Makasong, the reaction of the audience was just so special. Our young people were they were adored. It was wonderful to see. All the audience had their cameras on their phones and they were shining them and singing along, and it was just lovely. That was very special for our young people in Makasong. Finding destinations that suit our young people's needs can be quite challenging. They have to be fully accessible for our young people. They have to acknowledge the importance of signs, symbols, correct communication, the fact that each of our young people are different and all have different needs, and to be as accessible as possible. My advice to anybody that was planning a trip with their loved one would be to research first to make sure the destination is suitable for your young person. It would be awful to go away and not actually experience a decent break. And the most important thing is when you get to the airport, make sure that you request special assistance. It was so very important. It makes the trip through the airport so much easier. It's so important for young people with a learning disability to travel because they're human, they're people, just like you and me. They're just exactly the same. They have wants, wishes, choices. They want to go to different destinations, and why shouldn't they travel? It shouldn't be any different than for anybody else. What did you like best in Belfast? What was your favourite part of Belfast?
Uni.
Going to the uni. And if you couldn't travel, you wouldn't have seen that, would you?
No.
No. Would that make you happy or sad?
Sad.
Yeah. Would you like to see new parts of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you like to make new friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else would you like to go to visit? Where have you told Mummy you'd like to go?
Spain.
Spain. It'll be hard, won't it?
Hard.
But with help,
Help.
we can get there, can't we?
Yeah.
A film by Rory Marshall, a Discover Voices production, part of Disability Cornwall and Isles of Scilly, with special thanks to Marie and Liddy, Cornwall Accessible Activities Program, Makasong, Positive Choices and Queens University Belfast.